of the things that I tell people about you guys is how amazing you are, and how and how courageous you are. Like, you're the first ones to do this kind of school, to be in this kind of school.
And it's funny
right?
trying to explain it to people.
So how do you explain it? What do you say?
Well, they say, where do you go to school? And I'm like, well, it's an online thing that's less like school and more like hanging out with a friend who teaches me stuff. It's cool.
Awesome.
And they're like, oh, what's it called? And I'm like, well, it's All Access Possibility School. And they're like, oh, is it like K-12? And I'm like, no, it's like a thing that nothing else is like.
One of the things I would love to do is get the word out to the world that this space exists for kids like you, and for people to get a sense of who you are and what you've created here.
My name is Lola.
I'll bring a name out, Cat.
I'll be bring food.
Food, okay. Can you think of any food you could bring that starts with an L?
Lactose intolerant space ice cream. I don't know.
Lemons.
All right, cool. We can make lemonade on the moon. All right, Ella, you're last.
Okay, kill me. Okay. You're bringing binoculars. He's bringing an elephant, and his name is Ian, and he's bringing an igloo, and her name is Ellis, and she's bringing an e-cat, and her name is Simone, and she's bringing a salami, and her name is Audrey, and she's bringing a not cat, and her name is Lola, and she's bringing lemons, and my name is Ella, and I'm bringing an extraterrestrial alien reminder.
Nice.
It's really important to have on the moon.
Yes, Kate, go for it.
I have a question about math teachers, because
Yes.
I've had two teachers who didn't make math fun at all. Like for my 7th and 8th grade math teacher, he would make math, like he would give us so much homework, and he would make us do self-study, and
He would punish you if you didn't.
yeah, he would punish us if we didn't do it or we didn't get it, and he wouldn't really be open to questions. And then for my 9th grade, I was taking algebra, and my math teacher was also like that. She made us write in a specific color, like the title had to be red, the objectives had to be green, the like something else you have to write with black or blue. So I have a question, like how I mean.
Can I ask you a quick question about both of those teachers?
Yes.
Are you smarter than both of them?
Some ways, yes.
In some ways. You're just being modest, aren't you? It's okay. You can totally be smarter than your teachers.
When I was teaching in a public school, I sensed so much of the wrongness that kids felt about themselves if they didn't function in the way that was expected in the school, and they weren't successful in the way that it was being the curriculum was being provided. One of our students who's in middle school, who was made so wrong for being who she is in school. She's absolutely brilliant, and I get that that's threatening to some teachers, and so she was just being squashed, just being told to stop and not be herself, and that she wasn't. She'd be told, given an assignment in a certain way, and then when she made a choice, when they were given choices, she was told that she couldn't do it that way, that it wasn't appropriate.
One of the things that's different about the Access School is we don't approach it from what's wrong with the student or that they can't learn or that they're somehow deficient. It's like, okay, what do they require to be successful? Any kid can learn math. Any kid can learn social studies. Any kid can learn when the teacher is inspired and passionate and believes in the kid.
So we're really almost like discovering the magic of, you know, beyond the limitations of what learning is, or beyond, and it's really a magical piece that I don't know that I have words for it, but there is a space that's created as we clear the limitations, as we explore what it is that we do know.
Did you guys get taught in teaching school, like I got taught in therapy school, that there's a right way to teach and a wrong way to teach, and kids have to learn certain stuff, otherwise you're not a good teacher, and they have to learn it this way, so you have to teach them how to learn the way you want them? Is there like that going on?
I wouldn't say that necessarily. I mean, I think I was really fortunate in that I had some
Right, I think you were, yeah.
professors, and I had one in particular who, it wasn't even education, he was teaching me how to sing opera, and I remember he was willing to do absolutely anything to create the space for me to get it.
Awesome.
And it was such a different thing for me, and I looked at that and I was like, that's amazing. And so I took that, and I'm gonna cry, I'm sorry. And I took that into when I decided to become a teacher. That's who I thought of. That is who I was like, this is what I'd like to be. So with working with the Access Possibilities School, that was something that came up for me, like particularly with this little boy who was like, I am not gonna do it the regular way. I'm not gonna do things that aren't fun for me. And he's pushed me in ways that have been amazing, because I had to continually think outside the box and find a way that worked for both of us. And one of the things I think that was a real turning point for him was I looked at him one day and I said, look, in this school, you're never wrong. And he looked at me for the first time and made eye contact. And that's when I could feel that shift. And it was so funny because Christine and I didn't talk about it, but she said the same thing to him like that day. And just with us all willing to be that space of you're not wrong, you can choose whatever you choose, has been a huge invitation for him to realize that he can tell us, actually, it's not something I want to do. I want to do this over here. And he doesn't have a sense of, you know, being wrong or even that resistance is gone. He just sort of simply tells you, no, I don't want to do that. And you're like, okay, well, we'll do something else. And he's like, oh, they didn't make me wrong for it.
I'm gonna push you on that, because I get that there are teachers out there who would like to know more about the magic that you guys are in the classroom. How do you do that?
Well, I think it's like even before he was showing up, to have that conversation with him, right? Like he would show up at one day and then hide behind the computer the next day. And there was never that wrongness of him not showing up. It was, I'm grateful for you when you show up, and when you don't, that's okay too. Like I get that you're working through something, and how can we help you with that? We were always there for him. It was never like, and when he did show up, I know like in school, I struggled with showing up on time, you know, from movies or whatever. It's like, well, thanks for showing up. You know, that snarky like judgment for not being there when you weren't there. It's like, we're grateful for the kids when they show up, for what they contribute, for what they're willing to do, and for what they're not willing to do. Because just like Simone said, that's a challenge. Okay, so what else? Like, how can we get to make this work? What is required here? And we go to the question with it. And look at, okay, so maybe, and the thing that Simone said, which I think is really funny, is like, he'll only do what is fun for him, but she teaches for what's fun for her, like, but that's different. What's fun for her and what's fun for it, right? Like, she's totally on board to teach for fun, but his idea of fun and her idea of fun are different. Like, I lucked out, he likes math. So that was never, you know, we do like the most straightforward, boring math, and he's like, yes, that's fun, let's do it. I'm like, oh, okay. So sometimes what's not fun for me is still fun for him, and I'm like, all right, cool. But it's just that piece of being grateful for the kids and for
Right.
what they know and for showing up and for being them and for being willing to say what's true for them.
You know
What I love about watching our teachers teach is how they just are continually in the question of, well, you know, we have these meetings and we talk about, okay, so this is what's going on and what else is possible and what is really going on here and how can we change it? And things change so fast. We had a little boy that started with us in September, and he was resistant to go to the public school. He came with us, and he was so resistant in the beginning to doing anything. And he is, in 3 months, is like a totally different kid. He's now a leader in the class. And you know, he's leading us, he's leading the other kids. It's really cool.
We had a student who came in who was in 7th grade, based on age. So she's 12, now 13. And she had missed a lot of school due to family situations. And so she had a lot of holes in her, specifically her math education, but her education as a whole. And so she was functioning at about a 3rd or 4th grade math level. And my strategy with math in general, but in particular with her, is that if someone's struggling in math, they've missed some crucial piece of the process. And math in particular is a subject that builds on itself. So if you've missed one of the foundational blocks, you're going to struggle. So we went back and we started from the beginning, and within 3 months-ish, she's now functioning on grade level and doing 7th grade math.
I lately hit on something where they love games. Anything that's to do with games, it doesn't matter like what information it is, they will learn it if it has a game involved. So that's what we've been doing. We've been doing everything from like playing games online to like word searches and making things. They love making things. They had a situation where we were making a medieval castle out of boxes, and then they got their cats involved, and then it became a cat castle.
There's something that we are being in Access Possibility School, where we're actually receiving and being a space where we actually see and hear the kids, that opens up a space for them to choose more, to get excited about learning, to go beyond what they thought was a limitation or a frustration. And sometimes that's not in the text. Well, it's not in the textbooks. And that's an energy that at Access Possibility School, I feel that we're all being.
So what makes it different from the other schools? What makes it different from K-12 or from other online schools?
Well, I don't know because I've never tried any other online schools, but I can write you a novel on what makes it different from public school.
Go for it. Chapter 1.
The students. People care about the students.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's kind of hard to be bullied or be a bully in this school because the teacher is always there, so you can't really do anything behind the teacher's back. If I don't want to do a project, I can literally say that and we can do something else instead of being told I'm sassing and going to the principal's office, because there is no principal's office. I don't have to get dressed or leave my house. I can eat in class and I won't get yelled at for not having one for everybody. That's the prologue.
That's the prologue.
It's
awesome.
Fun. I learned stuff that matters.
Access Possibility School is for kids from kindergarten through 8th grade right now.
When I try to explain the school and my job to people, they're like, oh, so it's like homeschooling. And I'm like, well, not exactly, because we are certified teachers, right? So you're actually getting an education that's standards-based, that is from a school with certified teachers.
For the kids, to our what you would, I guess, consider the core curriculum of math, science, social studies, and English. As part of our full-time program, we also have music, we have art. Simone is an awesome art teacher. They'll be having theater and dance, and I teach the physical education and health program. So that's all included in part of the full-time enrollment.
We also have had, we call it Friday Fun with Friends, and we have invited different facilitators in who have been so gracious to join us and talk about what they know with the kids and ask the kids what they know and teach them different body processes and talk with them about consciousness and entities and showing up, and just really, really cool class.
In addition to the academic program, we also have extracurricular activities for kids and adults.
So we are teaching some of the extracurricular classes, and that's been fun, like to open up the school to many people at all ages. So it's not just for kids. And, you know, we offer many classes that have invited kids to participate as well.
I'm wondering if you could have anything out of today, is there anything you'd really like to talk about or play with? I didn't even really introduce myself, but I do travel the world teaching workshops about singing and about speaking and about just having more confidence or not being afraid of things, showing up more in your life, being comfortable telling stories. So I do have plenty of stuff that we can play with, but is there anything that you would really like to get out of today on any of those topics?
I had a question. Okay.
Yep.
What you said about confidence. Is there like any way, if you really like someone and they're shy, is there any way you can, like, I don't know, like have them feed off of your confidence? Because I feel like someone who's shy can really benefit off of my confidence.
Yeah. So that's a great question. So first of all, one of the things that I find with people who think that they're shy is that often it's not even theirs to begin with. So either somebody else told them that they're shy, or they just don't really know what to do with the world because everybody's a little bit strange around them. So they're just sort of like sitting back and watching, and then people tell them that they're shy. How often have you been doing something like just happy in your own world or minding your own business, and then somebody told you that you were something? Like you're shy or you're unhappy?
All the time.
Yeah. So,
it's so irritating.
So do you guys do a lot of clearings in the classroom?
Not a whole lot. If something major comes up, we will, but.
I do a lot with Adele, but that's because I'm bad at math, and
Okay.
she wants me to uncreate all of that.
Cool. So just anywhere that you have bought or taken on that you are something that isn't actually true for you, can we just return that?
I'd love to.
So you don't have to believe those stories about you anymore? Cool. Thank you. And drunk and mad pun puck only in short squeeze me on.
Oh, there we go. I love math. Look at that. She loves math. Yay. At the beginning of the class, you didn't like math. Yay, you actually like math now. That's awesome.
Sorry, go ahead.
How does it get any better than that?
How does it?
Way to go, Nestle. How about you, Kate? Are you feeling a little bit better about math?
Yeah.
It's not so sad anymore. I can't believe these people are making me do this. Because I'll tell you what, right now, I am a professional engineer, right? We use math all the time. Incorrect. Any engineer you talk to, for the most part, not any, most engineers, for the most part, will use addition and subtraction, and that's about it once they get into the job force. However, all the stuff that you're doing gets you to a level of understanding from this reality, at least, as to how this world functions. Yes, Nestle?
I'm not that good at rounding.
Really? How old are you?
8.
Did you turn 8 today?
No.
So you just rounded. Pat that back, girl. Right? So how many months over 8 are you?
Like, my birthday was March 29.
Uh-huh.
So it was April. Eight months.
Wow. Is that almost 12 months? So you're like almost 9, huh? Are you closer to 9 than you are to 8?
Yes.
That's rounding. So you're like, rounding would say that you're 9. So you can just go around telling people you're 9 now. And then when they say you're not 9, go, I rounded. Whatever. I know how to round. Do you?
Rounded.
You're rounded. I'm well rounded. just kind of take a look at your painting or your drawing and just ask, like, okay, so what's the one molecule here that I can change that will change everything? And so does anybody have a sense of that molecule or what it is you can change? How about you, Ian? Is that Ian who is that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. How about your drawing? Have you noticed anything change with your drawing?
I'm feeling the energy changing in the drawing.
Wow, cool. So what is that like for you? Like what is it like, the energy changing?
It feels like the bad energy that makes me feel like the drawing looks bad is moving out of my body, and
Yes.
more good energy is coming in.
Wow.
We're making some oobleck. I have cornstarch here, which is a powder. Pouring some into you can see it's kind of a powder. So so here we go. Here's my dish. I'm gonna put my cornstarch into my dish, even it out. Okay, and then I need 1 cup of water. So I'm gonna push this to the side for a second. We've got our 1 cup mark is right here. So I'm gonna have some water that's been boiled. I'm gonna fill it up to that 1 cup line. Hopefully there's enough water in here. Okay, I've got my 1 cup of water. So I'm gonna pour that over my cornstarch. Wow, it seems like not enough water. I'm going to mix it up with my hands. Ooh, it's gooey. So it's getting sticky. So I mix it with my hands. And if you guys can see, now it's getting liquidy. So if I pick it up, it just drips. But there's still some chunky parts. So see how it's drippy when I let go of it? Woo, like a liquid. If I pick it up, and I can make a ball out of it. Wow, it's so sticky. See when I go to pull it? Oh my goodness. It didn't do that when you made it, Ian?
No.
Get stuck inside of it?
No.
Oh man. Do you want to try again?
I added too much water. It was super liquid.
It was super liquidy? Did you have more cornstarch you could add to it? This one's pretty liquidy too. It's like pretty liquidy, but then at the bottom it's kind of gooey.
So what happened? Where did you meet your ghostie, Missy? Miss Ellis?
I like see the ghosts all the time.
Did you like? Are they in your bedroom right now with you?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Where are they?
They're there and there.
Uh-huh. What are they doing?
Just
standing there.
Yeah, they are like they're flying.
Can you tell them to go away? Do they go away if you tell them to go away?
Yes.
So I wonder who's more powerful, you or them?
But I have seen I see sometimes real humans. I don't make sometimes I don't make the difference between a human and between a ghost.
Yep. I know, you know Dane. Have you ever met Dane? Dr. Dane?
What's the last name?
Here?
Yes.
Yeah. So he was walking in Venice with his friend Gary, and they were walking down the street. And he saw this guy in this costume, you know, this big hat and the boots, and and he almost ran right into him, and he had to like move over because otherwise he would hit him. And so he moved and they walked further, and then he said to Gary, "Did you see that guy in the costume?" And Gary was like, "No." Because only Dane saw him because he was a ghost. So do you guys know how to get ghosts to go away? Do you know how to do that?
My mom knows.
Does she? Ian, are you listening? Do you know how to make ghosts go away?
I know how to get entities and demons to go away.
What do you do?
Just usually say, "True, what was your job before this? True, what was your job before this?" And just keep saying it until they go away.
Yep. Yeah, you can do it that way. You can also be a certain energy. So like when Dane walks into a room, and there's other people that can do this too, the entities just go and they leave the room.
Do you know of any school where you could talk about ghosts and not be laughed at?
Not laughed at, more as feared.
Feared, right?
The thing is, fear doesn't exist in this school because we're all weird. At other schools, like there's that one weird kid and everyone fears them, but here we're all the weird kids, so it doesn't matter.
Do you guys want to speak a little bit to the relationships that the kids are creating amongst themselves and that have developed over the course of the last 3 months?
Zoom is so dynamic and interactive, and it just makes it so easy that it is like being on a computer with somebody next to you, but instead I'm looking at you through the computer, and it just works, and it's so simple to use that even, our third graders, our kindergartners can use it once they've got the training and have been introduced to it.
One of our kids has been trying out a new school, and so she hasn't been with us for the past 2 or 3 weeks. And the other kids really miss her, and they really miss having her in the class. I mean, that's what it's like. It's a real classroom where they make friends, and they make sort of play dates, and they want to hang out. And I have to, constantly guide them back to what we were doing, because otherwise they'll just talk about cats the entire time.
This is very much like a classroom. Like, I can see you, you can see each other, we can talk at will and interrupt if we choose or not with our hand, and I can see if you raise your hand.
Would you like to have more kids? Would it be fun to?
Me and Simone were just talking about that. As long as they're cool.
This space is unlike any space that has existed. It's like those little glimpses you see in the classroom, right? For like a few seconds, a few minutes, and then it's gone. So it's like ongoingly creating that and being in the space of that.
Literally, when you talk to somebody about this school, they cannot conceive of what that is. That's why they're like, what is it? How does that work? Like, it literally is inconceivable to people who teach kids online.
Right.
And we're creating it. We're being it. We're doing it.
Access Possibility School is for kids from kindergarten through 8th grade right now. And what we're going to be doing next year is adding high school level classes, sort of one class at a time. I thought initially that we would probably add the whole program, but it looks much more likely that we'll be offering individual classes, and ultimately that will build to a program, and it may build sooner rather than later.
We have a website, accesspossibilityschool.com, and at the bottom you can also you can send any inquiries, but you can also sign up for our newsletter. And that's a newsletter we've just started to send out. So whether you're choosing our school today or in the future, or would like to share it with people, that might be another way to continue to stay in the loop of what we're creating and doing.